I've never covered vampires on my channel, but Sinners is a movie I've been looking forward to for a while now. Now, based on what we know about the film, Sinners takes us back to 1932, Mississippi, around the end of the Volstead Act. Now, for those unfamiliar with the Volstead Act, this is famously known as Prohibition, which means this is happening during a time where everyone is supposed to be sober, but very few people actually are. Now, Sinners comes out on April 18th, which is a very long time to wait to see what happens in this film, but in the interim, we do have 2 trailers and an interview. So I'm gonna go ahead and play one of the trailers right now just to set the stage.
We back now.
You twins?
Nah, we cousins.
There are legends of people with the gift of making music so true. It can conjure spirits from the past and the future. This gift can bring fame and fortune.
Will somebody take me in your eyes?
But it also can pierce the veil between life and death.
Listen here, this ain't no house party.
Shit.
Y'all ready to drink? Y'all ready to sweat till y'all stink?
You want some?
You keep dancing with the devil.
Careful, boy. You gonna bite off more than you can chew.
One day he's gonna follow you home.
We got us a problem, y'all.
What the hell going on?
Oh, we heard tale of a party. This world already left you for dead. I can save you from your fate.
You don't need no saving.
Yes, you do.
And you are?
I am your way out. Don't cry. It's all better now.
Yes, I lied to you.
I don't believe in magic. Ghosts, demons. Just power.
Somebody please take me.
We gonna kill every last one of you.
Hey, I ain't mean to scare you. Thought y'all done forgot about me in here. Come on, open the door, let me on out of here.
Stay. It's you?
Of course it's me, open the door.
That ain't your brother.
Now, at first glance, we got a lot going on in this movie. We've got 2 twin brothers, Smoke and Stack. Stack's in the red, Smoke's in the blue, and they are the scariest things that are supposed to be in this town until the vampires pull up. Now, that information comes from the Entertainment Weekly interview that I watched between Michael B. Jordan and the film's director/producer, Ryan Coogler, and they lay out the entire groundwork of the film. So if you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend you do. Now, like I mentioned, we've got a lot going on in this film just based on the trailer alone. So at first glance, we've got vampires, we've got music, we've got juke joints, we've got church. I feel like there was a lot of Pentecostal imagery in there with the snake and then the moonshine. There's all of this rhetoric of saving from the vampires, and then we also get saving in the sense of the religious sense. And one of the things that I really loved coming out of the interview from Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler is the fact that saving is a double entendre in this film. So we've got saving in the religious sense of the word, but we've also got that other darker meaning that seems to be used by the vampires. Now, after watching the trailers and the interview, there's one thing that I hate to admit, and that's the fact that I don't look forward to the fact that one of these twins here, I think it's going to be Stack, is going to end up getting turned by Haley Steinfeld's character. Now, do what you will with that information, but for me, with it being in Mississippi, in the Jim Crow South, again, I think you could make the argument that this is in fact a metaphor for all of the crimes and punishment that have happened at the hands of white women to black men who happen to find themselves unfortunately attracted to them at that time. Or hell, even today, depending on who you're dating. But you know what? Especially back then. Now, again, this is not something that I'm looking forward to. I do see his character falling in love with her character and trying to save her from whatever this vampirism is. And in the process, he gets turned himself. I don't like that premise, and I hope that I'm wrong about it, but I do actually see that being the case. Now, back to the film's trailer, one of the things I noticed immediately was how the film's tagline, which is Dance with the Devil, ties directly into the trailer that we're shown. There's a lot of imagery of the juke joint, a lot of people in there dancing and having a good time. There's this really steamy scene here between Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld, and they're dancing, and we know, based on the trailer, that she eventually becomes a vampire. The method at this point is unclear, but I think there's going to be a lot of that. And one of the things I wanted to point out from the interview with Ryan Coogler is the fact that he mentioned how the juke joint and the churches shared the same parishioners. And I thought that was really interesting because when I did my video about Robert Johnson, they said the same exact thing. The same people would go party on the weekend and then be in church on Sunday. In fact, that is how a lot of those temperance laws started to spread, because some of these pastors, some of these churches started to lose out on that membership because people were going out to the juke joints having too much fun. Sometimes the men would get too drunk, they'd go home, put their paws on their wives, wash, rinse, and repeat. Hence that temperance movement that probably lays the groundwork for the film as we know it. Now, before closing out this video, there was also something else that was really interesting to me about these two characters, the twins, Smoke and Stack. And that was the use of red and blue imagery. Now, I believe Stack is the one in red. That's the one who's seen dancing with Haley Steinfeld. That's the one who appears to have gotten infected with something. And then Smoke, his brother, is in this blue. Now, Ryan Coogler also mentions this in his interview. I'm not too sure how far it's going to go, though. But again, when you think of that angel and demon on your shoulder kind of thing, the red and blue, good and bad, I think it's going to play a major role. I think one of these twins is definitely going to end up getting turned. My bet is on Stack here based on the trailer. And again, for me right now, this movie feels like a couple of other movies that I really enjoy, and I'm just gonna list them very quickly. The first film that comes to mind for me is Idlewild. I'm sure the films have nothing in common, but that's the vibe it gives for me right off the top. The second thing that comes to mind is Lovecraft Country. Again, not because of the time frame, but just because of the underlying supernatural element that will eventually start to impact the way the characters move and their motivations. The third thing that comes to mind is a TV show called Superstition. Now, this centers around a family of supernatural hunters. They've been doing it for millennia at this point. But the interesting thing about this is that the town is well aware of this family and what they do. Now, they're not sure of the extent of it, but they know that when things happen in this town, these eldritch terrors that terrorize it, this family is the one to call. Now, the reason this reminds me of this movie is the fact that this town is going to eventually have to become what this family is. They're going to have to band together, defeat these monsters, and kick them out of whatever town that they're in. The fourth thing that comes to mind is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. They're hunting vampires. Like, these are ordinary people who have to do extraordinary things, and one of those things is kill the already undead. Except in the case of Sinners, I see them hunting the vampires reactively and not proactively, which is something that they do in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunters. The fifth thing that comes to mind is the Jazzman's Blues, and this is simply for the fact that Stack, the brother in red, appears to have an affection or at least an affinity towards Haley Steinfeld's character, and I do believe it will eventually get him killed. Now, you can say what you want about it, but he could have just left her alone. Unless she's a hypnotizing vampire. Vampires are notorious for being able to glamour people. They're already charismatic predators. It might not take much to make a man who was already into you even more into you if you have a supernatural means of doing so. But in any case, I definitely see one of the twins succumbing to the attraction and losing their life, and then coming back to life. Now, the last thing this movie reminds me of is Robert Johnson himself. And I think this is really important because there's actually imagery of a guy playing the guitar in this trailer, or at least in one of the trailers that I saw. And the cool thing about it is that in response to him playing this guitar, whoever this character is, it's mentioned how there's this very thin veil that can be broken. And this guitar player doing that reminded me instantly of Robert Johnson. Again, I have a video up about Robert Johnson if you're interested in that. But anyways, let me know if you guys are excited for Sinners. Let me know if you're going to be in the theaters on April 18th to watch the movie. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to seeing in this movie. And I will see you guys in my next video.